Long before the AI-171 crash, IO Active Labs had warned in 2020 that the Boeing 787s don't have sufficient redundancy. In public, Boeing rebutted their statement and claimed its central computers and core electrical architecture had sufficient backup. But in private, Boeing felt differently. Long before this report, in a December 8, 2013 internal bulletin, Boeing had warned that the failure of one component in the common core system could result in the failure of multiple systems. That one component that failed was the core network. That is the common data network, which AAIB notes was marked medium risk, and MEL CATC on the 9th of June 2025, 3 days before the crash. So clearly a redundancy had been warned in IOA by IOA Labs. Boeing claimed their core computers had backup was there, but internally this was something that they knew could happen, that one failure could lead to multiple ones. Air Commodore Mediratta.
That's true. One failure can lead to multiple failures, and normally you would find all the crash reports find that there has been more than one problems in the aircraft. It starts from somewhere and then it multiplies and goes into the other aspects. So those aspects are very common in an air crash. You'll find there are multiple reasons, and one system keeps troubling the other, and thereafter you will have multiple problems in the aircraft. What I was trying to say was, unless the pilot is very sure of the aircraft being fully and 100% serviceable, he would not take off, or aircraft is not allowed to be taken off, and there are no concessions on this. The aircraft has to be declared fit, it has to be done in writing, only then the aircraft goes for the next sortie, regardless of what has happened in the previous sorties. Those data, as it is, I had told you, were milled, go back to the OEM, they work on it, and if there is any requirement, that is sorted, or the aircraft is put down for that particular time, regardless of the pressures, because the aircraft has to fly and reach back, it has to land, it just doesn't have to only take off. And that's the reason, unless it's 100% fit, it will not be taken off for the next sortie in writing.
Okay, let me in fact quickly address some more news now also coming in on crash day. With the core network degrading, there was a domino effect when multiple systems started failing at once. Unaware of what was unfolding beneath, because the fault monitoring mechanism was also faulting, Captain Sumit, first officer, took off at 8:08:39 UTC. The report states the cockpit was blind, and so was maintenance. On successful climb, First Officer Clive commanded the gear up. Captain Sumit, being pilot monitoring, likely executed the command, setting off the entire chain of events that would result in the crash in 29 seconds. It seems that when they took off, the cockpit was blind at that point, and also the faulting had of course started, but because the first officer commanded the gear up, Captain Sumit then executed that command, which then went ahead and led to that crash within 29 seconds. Commodore Mediratta.
That small clip of the cockpit voice came, it was clear that aircraft had taken off normally and the pilots were talking, and the problem had started when the cutoff switches had come down to cut. And that is where the issue was there. Till then, the aircraft was climbing also, and it had maintained the normal profile of the takeoff also. And there was no question at that time of the pilots having reported any problems in the aircraft or in the cockpit. It was only the first problem which was reported was the fuel cutoff switches, and the final was the mayday call, which was made another 10 seconds or 15 seconds later because of the loss of power and the RAM opening up. Yeah.
Okay. Let me quickly, in fact, also address some more news coming in. When Captain Sumit commanded the gear up, what he wasn't aware was his action could push the 270 volt high voltage inverter power